To achieve a Band 6 result in the HSC oral exam, you not only need to be able to analyse music in relation to the concepts of music, but you need to know how to structure and write what you hear in an effective way. The problem is that there is limited support from official syllabus documents to know exactly how to do this. So, with this video, we've done the legwork of reading a whole bunch of literature and summarized it into this step-by-step video that will show you how to answer Music 1 oral exam questions effectively, so you can start writing Band 6 responses. Hello, I'm Brad Fuller. I'm here with Pete Orenstein to bring research into the classroom and help you to put it into action with a touch of show business. So let's get into it.
But disclaimer, this video is based upon the work of Trish Weeks over the last decade. So if you're that type of person that you like to read the literature yourself, then check out the description below for links to her articles that we're referencing. We're not making this up, we're just summarizing everything she's written about oral for the last decade and summarizing it into one video. But don't take our word for it, read below. Trish's analysis of student answers from the standards package gave rise to 3 key features of student answers that achieved the highest marks.
Feature 1, time. They specified the musical time either through stating the section name, referring to beginning/start/opening, using conjunctions, for example, then, next, overall, referring to a specific bar or phrase.
Feature 2, finding. They identified a finding in a concept of music with reference to specific performing media. Generally, to receive the top band, 12 or more correct findings that are directly linked to the question need to be identified. When making a finding, it's essential to include who or what is playing. This is commonly referred to as performing media, and it could be a specific instrument, type of instrument, section of ensemble, or just generally the ensemble itself. But accuracy is important here. So if you're not confident or you can't identify the specific instrument, just zoom out a little bit and use your best describing words, rather than going for an instrument and getting it incorrect.
Feature 3, principle. Sentences or dot points were then finished with reference to a principle of composition, including contrast, variety, unity, interest, repetition, climax, and tension. Poorer answers relied on personal evaluations or emotions/feelings, whereas successful answers removed bias through only a reference to a principle. We all know a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? This principle applies to music too. Often when describing music, it's just easier to say it with images, tables, or graphs. These are highly effective and efficient ways of conveying technical meaning about the concepts of music.
First up, let's look at what images you could include. Number 1, pitch contour. This can be a line or a series of note heads without stems that is used to convey meaning about the unfolding of pitch over time, while simultaneously referring to melodic direction, contour, register, and range. Number 2, rhythm notation. This could be traditional or non-traditional, and its power lies in showing extensive detail about musical events at a micro level of time related to time signature, beats, and rhythmic patterns.
Rather than an image, some concepts are more effectively described by drawing a table. For example, let's look at a texture table. In this example, the first row is used for sections or musical time, and the first column is performing media. As the excerpt is playing, these rows can be filled out and then ticks indicate when each performing media is playing. This type of table could be applied across many concepts, not just texture.
And lastly, graphs can be incorporated, such as texture graphs. In this example, the y-axis is performing media and x-axis is musical time. Horizontal lines indicate entry and exit points, and texture scores and tables are highly specific about when particular performing media are playing, but their main affordance is showing principles of composition, patterns of unity, contrast, similarity, and difference. Graphs also work great to describe other musical concepts such as dynamics. Let's check out an example. Here the y-axis is used for dynamic level, and the x-axis is musical time. Subtle changes in dynamics are clearly indicated in a dynamics chart, showing the gradual or sudden rise and fall of volume levels over time. Trish says these types of specifications demonstrate acute aural awareness, and if correct, are the kinds of meanings that the examiners value highly.
Now we know how to structure our sentences and what type of visual material we can accompany this with. Let's zoom out to the question as a whole and look at some exam techniques. According to Week's 2015 paper, there are 4 different types of questions that can be asked. Number 1, a concepts of music question. For example, describe how the concepts of music are used in this excerpt. Number 2, principles of composition question. For example, describe how unity and contrast are achieved in this excerpt. Focusing on the concept of pitch, describe how contrast is achieved in this excerpt. Number 3, a comparison question. For example, describe the differences in the musical treatment of each excerpt. Number 4, the mystery box, to do with performing media or style or technology. Explore the features of the styles used in this excerpt and explain how performing media are used in this excerpt.
Why is it important to take note of the question type? Well, to put it simply, if you don't know the question and don't answer it, you won't get any marks. But this exam is unique. We're listening to music and describing it in relation to the musical concepts. Each question and each different piece's style or genre will dictate the way we structure our response. We can do this in 2 ways. Number 1, we can structure it in chronological order. This is where we put headings for each section of the excerpt, either in verse-chorus format or by using rehearsal letters such as A, B, C, etc.
Or number 2, we can structure it by musical concept. If the question refers to multiple concepts, then we can answer it under those headings. Or if there's just one concept, we can have different subheadings that are concept dependent.
Regardless of which way you structure your answer though, Weeks suggests that by drawing images, graphs, and tables during each musical excerpt, parts can be completed like a jigsaw puzzle and referred back to even when the musical excerpt isn't playing. Once you select your style, you can use a combination of full sentences and dot points, but in the present tense, to form your comprehensive musical description.
Referring to time, making a finding and linking it back to a principle of composition while incorporating images, graphs, and tables is a great way to describe music in relation to the concepts of music and get a Band 6 oral exam result. But in order to make accurate musical observations, you need to be able to identify performing media from a range of styles and genres, as well as know the concepts inside and out. If you'd like us to make more content about this, comment below and we'll get right onto it. See you next time.